Okay. So, you know, we are talking today, the first thing about mood swings and just what we can use to kind of diffuse the situation, shall we say, pun intended. And so we're going to talk about that and how mood swings can be affected by essential oils. Okay. And so the next thing we're going to talk about is skin. Because during this, and this was interesting, this was something that we had planned to do real live at a cafe. Like we were going to plan, we talked about all these things anyway, but it just happens to be perfect timing because we're washing our hands constantly. Now, in the video that I had watched last night, this was, again, a doctor on the front lines in a hospital in New York City, and his hospital has become 100% just focused on people with this ailment. And it gave incredible tips and tricks to just care for your family. He's like, I finally know now as a doctor on the front lines that I will not get this. And here's why, and here's the precautions, and here's the steps that I take to do that. And so if you guys want information on that, just hit up whoever invited you to this. So whether it was Jerlise or Jackie or Susan or Jaymely, and they can point you to the video. It's on my Facebook, and we'll give you the link for that. It was an hour long. It was incredible. It gave us a lot of hope. It gave us a lot of tips and tricks on how to not to get sick. And basically it was just like, don't put your hands in your face. Wash your hands constantly, and don't put your hands anywhere on your face. Wear a mask so that you don't touch your own face. And so we wanted to talk about not only hand skin health, but just skin health in general. And Jaymely has a lot of experience with that. It's one of the things, like, I feel like we all have our oil story, like the thing that made us go, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Like, why didn't I know about these before? And that was her story, and I love it. And we're going to learn a little about that. And then we're also going to talk about seasonal affliction. So it's late March, right? And in late March, we have things flying through the air. And a lot of us have horrible symptoms of allergies, and we need to know the difference, and we need to know how to treat that. Now, the point of why I brought up this doctor from the webinar that I watched is because he said that telemedicine right now is the thing. He goes, what happens is, say someone has a sneeze or a fever and they come into the hospital. We are sending them home. So here they are, they're coming into the hospital, and we have to send them home right away because there's no point of them being there. They have to let this thing run through them. They have to be home. They have to rest. They have to have liquids and all this. And if you have symptoms of allergies, then you have to know how to treat it. So he says what people are doing is calling into our really intelligent doctors who have to be at home, and they're just saying, okay, this is how you treat it. Now, if you just saw my live before I came on here, I was talking about, think about all the things that your grandmother taught you, like when you had a cold. She'd give you hot tea. She'd make you hot toddies. She would have raw honey in your tea. She would, you know, have you put a pot and open a peppermint tea bag and take all the herbs of the peppermint, throw them in the pot, and then put a towel over boiling water and let you breathe in the steam, right? You can think of the diffusers as the new age way to do this, right? So think of all those things that we do to help ourselves. So we're going to give you the tips and tricks to do all that. Now, before we get into the very specifics, and I think I'm going to start with allergies actually, so I'm going to start with the symptoms of like these seasonal afflictions. But before we kind of get into the very specifics, just for the people who are super new here, I did want to share my screen with you and just give you a very quick overview of the oils and why we're using them, why they work, where they come from, okay, for those of you who are kind of new to this. And of course, it'll always be a good refresh for those who have been using them. So what are essential oils? They're extracts from plants, okay? They're highly concentrated. If anyone wants to take a screenshot of this whole page, you can, but I'll tell you how I found it. See how it says products made simple? This PDF is on Google. You just Google products made simple, and it's like the fourth thing that comes down. It's a PDF, and it says Amazon something. So they're extracts from plants. They're highly, highly concentrated. So if you take that same peppermint tea bag that I was talking about, and you open it up, right, and you see all these herbs in there, what you're seeing, what you're using when you do this, you know, steam bath for your face when you're congested, is you are using the entire peppermint plant, so all the leaves, maybe the stems, excuse me, and you're cutting it up, and what's happening is it's dehydrated, right? So the essential oil is actually the defense system of the plant itself. It's what helps the sun from not burning it. It's what helps the cold from not like killing it in the winter when it goes dormant. It helps literally like pathogens from not eating the plant, right? Some plants get attacked by different bugs and stuff like that. So it's literally the defense system of the entire plant. And because human beings and plants have the same exact biological makeup, we're now using this defense system for our health, for our benefit. So that's why the essential oils themselves are 50 to 70 times more powerful. This picture right here is our little oil sacs that are sitting among little spikes. This is a peppermint leaf blown up, the underside of a peppermint leaf blown up. So these little essential oil sacs are steam distilled away from the actual plant, and they're put in this gorgeous bottle, and there's 250 drops. Okay, so I wish some of you who have their peppermint, wish all of you had peppermint right next to you right now. And when you take a drop of this peppermint, and look, for those of you who haven't used it before, look how quickly it comes out. I'm holding it like a 45-degree ketchup bottle, right? Here we go, boom. That's how quick it comes out. And you just rub it in between your hands, and you sniff it here. And look, it's like totally all gone practically. I can rub it on my back if I'm hot, which I'm not, so I'm gonna put it in my hair instead. But I'm also just gonna let myself breathe better. And this is the effect that we get when we diffuse it aromatically, which we'll talk about in a second. So the essential oils actually are, you know, they have come from and been used for thousands of years. They have a wide range of uses, from the cosmetic industry to food. So if you've ever had anything flavored, you have an essential oil. The problem with a lot of flavored foods, though, is that they're synthetic. Okay, so the FDA will approve these things that, you know, are in so many of our foods. And, you know, I'm not someone who knows the scientific reasons, like why some things are approved and some things aren't when they are harmful to our bodies. But that's the thing. These are 100% natural, and doTERRA knew that the industry of essential oils was not regulated, and so they went above and beyond, which we'll talk about next. They actually created their own certification that is even higher than you know, United States standard. It's like more in line with European standards, but they call it like an international certification. Okay, so they're really the inspiration for synthetically produced products. And so we have the actual original plant medicine right here, okay? So the next part is about how natural they are, right? So you see that little pie chart here. I'll just kind of circle it with my mouse cursor. This pie chart here is the synthetic things that are on the market. So many of the things that you buy in the store are the synthetic version, and a lot of people are used to that, right? But what happens is when you see on the internet and it says like, absolutely do not take oils internally, it's true for the majority of the essential oils that are on the market. You should not take them internally. Now on doTERRA's labeling, this is frankincense, for example. See if you can see this. It actually has, it says frankincense, and then right here it says essential oil supplements. Now these are approved, right? FDA approved. There's supplement facts, and if there's a supplement facts, then that means you can take it internally. And right here it says, for internal use, dilute 1 drop in 4 floor ounces of liquid. Okay, and once you get hooked up with somebody, you're in the community, you're using these at a wholesale membership and wholesale cost, you come into a community of people who help teach you about these things. So like I get people texting me all the time, Jenny, can I take frankincense internally? And my answer is yes. And there I go, taking it internally, and I'm helping build my immune system. Now frankincense tastes like a tree, so I'm always gonna have, cheers, some juice or water nearby to wash that one down. All right. Now, certified pure therapeutic grade is what I was talking about, of how safe it is. This is a certification of, I think it's up to 45 different tests that we do, third party and in-house labs, that ensure the quality and purity of this oil. Now, but look at this here in the pie chart. that red, the CPTG, that's how much, right? That's kind of where our essential oils are different in terms of the spectrum of oils that are on the market and what they're used in products that are food products and therapeutic products and synthetic products, okay? So the other part of CPTG, the certified pure therapeutic grade, is that these oils must come from the native indigenous growing region. That means frankincense did not come from Worcester, Massachusetts. Frankincense came from the Middle East or Eastern Africa. Okay, this is where it grows natively. There are frankincense forests there. We create sustainability practices for the farmers so that these are people who have been taken advantage of for years by the perfume industry and different essential oil industries. But we make sure that we do not partner with a community unless we 100% have sustainability practices in place and fair trade payment practices in place. So you can look up co-impact sourcing, and this is going to tell you a little bit more about how we work directly with the farmers and how by you just buying essential oils from doTERRA, they are directly impacting the lives of these farmers in an incredible, incredible way. So moving on to this part about the cell structure itself. So almost all cells in our body are lipid encased. So this means that when you have some kind of over-the-counter supplement that you're taking that is alcohol-based or water-based, it cannot penetrate the cell wall because water and oils don't mix. If I put frankincense on the top of my cocktail here, which is a virgin cocktail, but I'm weird, I have to mix like seltzer and cranberry and water and essential oils all together. But if I was going to put the frankincense right on top, it would stay there. So what I do, if I'm going to put lemon in my water, for example, I'll put it first and then I'll pour the water and then I'll shake it up and then I'll drink it, and then it mixes up a little bit better. But waters and oils don't mix, so we have to we'll talk about carrier oils in a second. But in terms of the cells, essential oils are oils. And we have our skin layer and then a fat layer and then our bloodstream. And so it has to penetrate the fat layer, but also all of our cells are encased in this lipid. And so something that's water-based or alcohol-based will not penetrate the lipid, which means fat, but the oils will because they're oils. So they penetrate into the cell where the threat lives, okay? So the three ways that we use it is aromatic, okay? So we're diffusing essential oils through, just a natural silicone-based plastic natural. I don't mean natural that's natural, but in a way that you're not like burning it with candles or something like that. It's a way that you just use it with water and you're putting essential oils in it, and the diffuser helps to mix it and then pour out this steam, and the steam creates an aromatic experience in your home, which attaches to pathogens that are like in the air. So it's an incredible way to keep your immunity up. Okay, because here's what happens. These oils enter your olfactory system, your nose, and goes straight up and connects to your limbic brain. So the limbic brain is where we have cognitive function. This is where it affects mood swings, people. So literally, if you have people in your home that are swinging left and right, all you do is put on that diffuser. We're going to talk about balance in a second, and we're going to put that there, and people are affected and they don't even know why, right? They're like, what's that smell, Mom? And you're like, don't worry about it. It's all good. All right. So topical works really fast. This is what we're going to talk about when we talk about the skin. And it enters the bloodstream within 30 seconds. So when we wipe it on our hands or on our skin, it goes through the skin, through the fat layer, and into the bloodstream and becomes systemic, which means it affects our entire system in 30 seconds. The blood is like traveling to all the cells and affecting every single cell in your body. It's incredible. And Jaymely, actually, we were together so long ago when we weren't in quarantine, and we put balance on her wrist. So we had her two wrists, and I wanted to see the vein that was like the veins that I could see less, and I put the balance on her wrist, and we just watched it in 30 seconds, and she was like, nuh-uh, and the veins like started popping open. Like, it was crazy. So if you guys look up doTERRA Balance Oil Blood Test. It's so cool. You can see what actually happens to the cells in the blood, in the veins, when you put balance oil. And this is what's happening with a lot of oils when you put it on the bottoms of your feet and it becomes systemic. The final part before we get into the specifics is the internal. Okay, so you saw me just take frankincense internally. There's a lot of stuff online, again, that says, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. You have to know your oil brand. You have to know the oils. So this is something that when you have your own wholesale account, like I was saying, you are connected to a community of people who mentor you through this. So if you're someone who is seeing this and you're not connected to a community, you don't know how to use it, make sure you get with the person who invited you to this webinar, who sent you this link. And you want to make sure you sit down and talk with them. That's the whole name of this game, is like, we are so passionate about teaching people the very remedies that have helped us with so many of our health issues. And we want to make sure that you are getting the same treatment from us. Okay. So internal, like it says, it detoxifies the body, the whole digestive system, the mouth, the throat, the liver, urogenital tract. And again, it will say very clearly, like on the balance oil, I'll show you the difference. We saw the frankincense before and it said supplement facts. Here it just says essential oil blend, right? And that's it. And then it has the ingredients. So this one you will not take internally. And it actually says for aromatic or topical use, diffuse aromatically or to apply topically, dilute with a carrier oil to minimize skin sensitivity. So I'm going to let Jaymely, like in about 10 minutes, talk about the carrier oils. But first I want to talk about, actually I might do it in the allergy one. So I'm going to unshare my screen just so I can chat with you guys about this seasonal affliction situation. Now, when I went to my first oil class, I have to tell you straight up, I was the biggest skeptic in the whole class, because I had been using essential oils for about 15 years at that point. And I knew that the industry standard was, you do not take essential oils internally. Absolutely not. And so I knew enough to know that, you know, I could just, you know, not put it on my skin, but every other way. Well, now that we know about how much the oils affect your limbic brain and they go into your system, like, we shouldn't even have been using them as massages back then, right? I started using them at a spa that I worked at as an intern when I was like 17 or 18. And I went to my first essential oil class where they were talking about doTERRA oils, excuse me, and she had us put peppermint on the roof of our mouth. So I went like, she had everyone do that. And this is what I did. I took my bottle and I just passed it right on, and I raised my hand. Excuse me, ma'am. What is so special about your oils that you can put them in your mouth? And I was like trying to catch her off guard. And she was like, it's what's not in our oils. And then that was it. That's all she had to say. And she just was so confident about it. And I was just like, all right, girl. So I went home and did all my own research and realized that, wow, there was a huge difference in the oils I had been using versus what had just come out on the market. And so then I kept going to classes. I kept educating myself. Now, I was somebody who in late March, April, was so affected by seasonal afflictions and by different flowers that were flying through the air and creating histamine in my body. And I remember calling my dad from college and saying, Dad, I think I'm dying. I think I have bronchitis. And he was like, no, you don't have anything. You just have allergies. And I was like, there's no way. I'm going to the hospital. And he's like, Jenny, you're just like me. You have hay fever. You have all these things. I was like, there's no way allergies could affect my body this bad. He's like, I'm telling you. And sure enough, I would take different allergy meds and it would go away for a little, but I always felt really horrible. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Like when you take allergy over the counter stuff and you feel almost like you're like, you have drugs in you, right? So I felt like this. Just to give you an example, all the time, right? And so that's how you feel. You feel like you're not in your body. Like you feel like something's taken over. At least with me, I'm very sensitive to stuff like that. So when I did some more research, I learned that the combination of lavender, lemon, and peppermint basically takes takes over. It just helps incredibly. So my mentor said to me when I finally stopped being a little sassy and started listening to her, the same woman who like told me what was up. Jarlise, I love your feet, by the way. I'm just saying. I was gonna warn people in the beginning, if you keep your video on, just don't go to the bathroom or like take your clothes off, because that happened to me in a Zoom call and all I could do was, let's see, my son, he's like, you're too loud, Mom. And all I could do was, sorry. But anyway, you know what I mean? So like put your video on, but we love seeing people doing yoga. So go for it. Sorry. I just thought that was so cute. Okay. So I'll try to talk quieter for my son. So when so peppermint, think about it. It clears up your entire, sinuses, your entire nasal passages. Just clears it up, right? Of all the congestion. Lemon is an entire body detoxifier. So I take this a drop every single day in my warm water. And then lavender is actually a natural antihistamine. Okay, so the combination of these three oils is a powerhouse for allergies. Now, what I had asked my mentor, I said, what's the best way to use it? And that's when I learned about dilution and the reflex points on the bottom of the feet. So when we have carrier oil, which means coconut oil, fractionated coconut oil, grapeseed extract, jojoba, avocado oil. These are carrier oils. Almond oil. These are carrier oils. We use fractionated coconut a lot in doTERRA because when you take out the protein of a coconut oil, it takes out the protein that hardens the oil, like the stuff that you have in your kitchen, and also that for most people creates that allergy. Okay, so when you put this on the bottoms of your feet every single day, okay, I would start early. Like if you are affected by seasonal afflictions like late March, I would start early March, maybe even February, but now is better than nothing. And you start to get those oils in your system, okay, so that your cells are protected and that you build up the immunity in your cells before the attack happens from the outside, okay? And then of course, when you have the symptoms, when you have, you know, the symptoms that make you not easy to breathe and to make it so that your eyes are running and stuff, you want to just open up all the airways, okay? So Breathe essential oil comes in a couple different ways. And again, this is 250 drops in the 15 millimeter bottle, okay? This is a pre-diluted, so this is already made and safe for kids or those with sensitive skin. But what I would do is I would take this bottle and diffuse it all day long to just keep the air running through my lungs, all right? And then I would just put it literally like on my sternum, just rub it all the way down if I had trouble breathing, okay? So breathe is in. Sorry, I'll try to be quieter, Kello. Now, I wanted to introduce this. He's telling me what's up right now. So the other thing that has been super helpful with Breathe is with the mood thing. So if you're somebody who has been feeling tight in the chest, I want you to think of some of these physical things as also emotional ones. So if you feel tight in the chest, what happens? Like, why do we get tight in the chest? It's because when we hear bad news and we're scared, we tend to do this, right? And this literally starts to shorten all the muscles and connective tissue in our chest when we do this. And if we don't start to open our chest and start to like literally put oils here, and even with yoga, different yoga moves, just opening the heart, then this will be here, okay? So Breathe actually helps me to remember to breathe. It helps me to just start to open the chest and all those airways. Okay, so that's my basic recommendation for seasonal afflictions right now. So you want to start treating yourself with these things so that you're just covered, so that all the essential oils just start to kind of like go into all your cells to boost your immunity. We just want it there so that we're protected constantly, right? First thing in the morning, put it in your diffuser. If you don't have a diffuser yet, we'll teach you how to get it, but also just smell from the bottle. Okay, so I am going to hand it over to Jaymely just so she can talk a little bit about kind of how she started with using the essential oils and how it helped her skin.
So yeah, hello everyone. If you don't know yet, I'm Jaymely, for those that I have not met yet. I started with doTERRA using essential oils around the end of 2017. I was first introduced by Jerly. She's in this video. That's my sister. I was introduced by her. I used to have I mean, I still am working on it, but it used to be terrible when I first started with college. I used to have really bad anxiety. I used to get just waves of different moods all of the time. And then she introduced me to diffusing. That's when I first started using the essential oils. She would diffuse different smells for me that were grounding. So she would use the balance. These are all blends that you can use when you're feeling like very overwhelmed, when you're feeling anxious. So we have different blends like Copa Eba, Balance. I like to use Citrus Bliss. It's very light for me. When I'm feeling overwhelmed, I'd rather use like a more citrusy type of oil personally. And what's good about Citrus Bliss is that you can actually use it as a perfume too. That's another thing that I'm very interested with these oils. You literally just take like 2 to 3 drops of them, and then you just rub it and put it all here, just like that. And it's just great because you know that whatever scent works for you, you can rub on your skin, and you don't have to worry about those reactions. But you also have to know that depending on your skin type, you have to figure out if the oil works for you. So whether you want to try it on a small portion of your skin first and then work with it and see if it works for you, of course, that's always the best way to do it. So yeah, I started using it because of my emotions. And I saw that it would like calm me down and it would bring me into a different state of mind. And so as I continued to venture in the world of essential oils, I was also, because of the stress and because of the anxiety, it would turn into a physical form of stress, and I would get a lot of acne. I wish I could like show you guys a picture. I don't have a picture here, but my acne was terrible. It was all here. It was all here. And I just didn't know what to do about it. So my sister introduced me to the essential oils line of like facial stuff. Oh, you can't really see this, but they have like different types of blends for cleansers. They have toners. They have face masks. They have just a ton of different products that are made with these natural products of essential oils. So basically what I did is they have 3 different lines. I used the HD Clear starting off because I had very sensitive skin and it was also dry. So I wanted to use the cleanser that they had for the HD Clear. I started off with that, and I was using a carrier oil that would work for me. And then I was putting the Melaleuca, which is tea tree oil, if you didn't know. It's basically like a skin cleanser. It works very well at like detoxifying the skin and getting into your pores, because I noticed that with my skin, like I could literally see like dirt just staying in there. No matter how many times I wash my face, it's like dirt just would get into my pores and it just didn't want to get out. And I would try to pick at it, and it was very terrible. It was terrible experience. So I started to use Melaleuca. I started using just oils that were very cleansing to the skin. So I would use Melaleuca, I would use lemon, and I would use lavender. You have to be careful though. A very important warning is some of these essential oils, when you're using them on your skin, you have to make sure that you do the research and make sure that you're able to go out into the sun after using them. It's usually a couple hours. If you're using one like lemon for like scarring, because I also had a lot of scars, I would take a little bit of fractionated coconut oil and I would add like 1 to 2 drops of the lemon. And I would just take that and just dab it on my scars. Even right here, I just had something new. I'm just going to take a little bit of lemon. And you can even take like a little bottle like this. doTERRA sells a lot of these little bottles. And you just pop it open and you just fill up the bottle to about almost the top with fractionated coconut oil. And you want to add, they have exact dilution rates, but you just add the fractionated coconut or whatever type of carrier oil works for your skin, and then you add the lemon for scarring. And I'm telling you, it works. I honestly, people would always tell me before I was like introduced to doTERRA, just essential oils in general, they would always tell me like, try essential oils. Like it's something that they're very powerful. You wouldn't imagine. It's like a lot of people make fun of like, oh, you rub it on your skin and you're all well. It's kind of like that, honestly. It's you rub it on your skin, you're consistent with it, and you work with it, and you work with your skin, and you work with your health conditions. And honestly, the more consistent you are, the more you'll see results. I feel like that's one of the biggest things, being consistent with any practice that you use with these essential oils, whether it's diffusing it, whether it's putting it topically on your skin, whether it's internally. Personally, I don't do it as often internally, but I can swear by topically and diffusing it that they've done wonders for me, honestly. So yeah, I just want to do a little bit more. I have one more little recipe that I did for my skin, because I feel like, especially during these times after winter just came by, our skin is like very confused with moisture and just, you know, staying clean and cleansy. So I have this clay mask. It's basically bentonite clay. It has tons of minerals in it. It's basically calcium minerals. And what I do is I take 1 drop of melaleuca, I take 1 drop of lavender, melaleuca lavender, and 1 drop of frankincense, the king of all oils. And I go ahead and mix that with 2 cups, sorry, not 2 cups, that's a lot. 2 teaspoons of the clay, along with a little ratio, a little bit more of the water. When you see it starting to like get a little liquidy, you want to add a little bit more clay and then just leave it at that. You want to get like a little paste, but you want to make sure that you're putting 1 drop of each of these oils, or whatever oil that you decide to research and know that it works for your skin. Put that in the clay and just leave that on for 15 minutes if you're having trouble with acne, or if you're having trouble with moisture, and just detoxifying your skin and just renewing the cells on your skin, because I feel like that's a big part of it. We're used to just like going in the shower. Before I was even introduced to essential oils, I was just going in the shower and just literally rinsing my face off with water, using bar soap, just regular things that my skin was not agreeing with at all. And then I started getting into the practice of kind of researching and seeing different essential oils that worked for my skin personally, because I can sit here and say that melaleuca is wonderful and it's cleansing for the skin, but it possibly won't work for you. But you want to make sure that you research and figure out what type of skin type you have, and see possibly if another oil, like let's see another really good oil for the skin. Helichrysum. My sister, this one isn't helichrysum, my sister uses helichrysum for her scars. So I use lemon, she used helichrysum. So you see, it's like where it's depending on your skin type, it's depending on the smell of the oil as well, because you don't want to have something with a powerful smell that you're not enjoying on your face all the time. So yeah, it's usually depending on those types of things when it comes to your skin. And also, not only does this clay help for your face, it also helps for your hair. So if you're just dealing with like any moisture problems or cleansing problems from the winter time, because I know that a lot of us were inside and we weren't really doing the most keeping up with our personal self, face, hair, all that fun stuff. Try to use these products and see what works for you, because I know that they did wonders for me. So yeah, Jenny,
That was awesome. Thanks, Jaymely. Yeah, and so like she said, it's so interesting. I just went on to skin. So now I want you to write this down. This is the Modern Essentials Handbook. This is something that you can get on Amazon. You can get on aromatools.com. So you can write that down. Aromatools.com is where I get almost all of my kind of like supplemental, just roller bottles and books and and things like that. It's really, really spot on in terms of like their products and their information. And but this also is an app. You can get this for, I think it's still $3.99. I don't think the price went up. If it did, it's just a couple dollars, but it's a one-time fee. And I have this entire book on my phone, right? So it's like, if I want to look up an ailment, I can just look it up real quick, or I can look up the oil itself, like the plant itself, right? So here's lemongrass and the entire history, you know, what it does, the properties of it, what to use it for. But I just looked up skin. And it's interesting because like Jerry, I do this all the time.
Everyone
You're
does it.
Jaymely, your sister's Jerry. And I looked up skin, and the first oil that they recommend is peppermint. Now, is that the first recommendation that I give to people? Absolutely not. It's usually lavender and frankincense. But the second one is melaleuca, tea tree, like she said. The third one is the HD clear that she mentioned. And it goes on and on and on and on. Lemon's not even there until like the 25th recommendation. But it's there because some people find it very helpful, which Jaymely did. And so she just, again, maybe it was by accident. Maybe she loved the smell of lemon and put it on for a mood. And she was just like, wow, after I did that, my scars went away. You know what I mean? So it was such a good point, you know, to just experiment with them, because what happens is when you start experimenting with the essential oils is that it starts to clear up things in your body that you didn't even realize. Like lemon's a natural detoxifier. Maybe that's why it helped Jaymely. It's uplifting. You know what I mean? There's so many benefits of just using lemon. And then of course it says at the bottom of the skin thing, it says dilute as recommended. So always use a fractionated coconut oil, which does not dilute the efficacy of the oil. It just dilutes the time frame it takes to get from your skin into your bloodstream. So for children, that's why we use it to slow down that time frame so it doesn't like rush through their bloodstream. It just stays localized for a little bit longer. And then it says apply 1 to 2 drops on the location, or use as a massage oil. Okay. So she touched upon mood for a little bit, but I did just want to bring up 3 oils that we kind of actually brought up 2 of them already, but they're hugely, hugely helpful. One of my 3 favorites for mood, anxiousness, feelings of, you know, anxiousness, anything like that. The first one is the balance oil. Again, look up doTERRA blood test and you'll see what I'm talking about, why this helps so much. It is one of my absolute favorites. It has a bunch of trees blended in it. Okay, so there are a bunch of different trees like spruce, hoe-wood, frankincense. There's blue tansy, there's blue chamomile in here, osmanthus. And so we can put it on the bottoms of our feet and it'll just start to, you can almost like, if you're very sensitive in the body like I am, I can feel this running through my veins within 2 minutes, like up my legs if I put it on my feet. And I'm telling you, we put it on Jaymely's wrist and you could just see the veins just moving. It was incredible, like opening. So this is an oil that it's called the grounding blend. And I actually use it in the morning. Like say if you wake up a little frazzled or like you have a crazy, like I do, and he's with you all night and like you didn't get enough sleep. So in the morning, I'll put that, don't spit, Jamie. I'll put that on the bottoms of my feet to ground me in the morning. It's not like a sedative or anything. It just keeps you grounded. And then at night, it's something that I use to calm me down as well. So it's this gorgeous oil that I use. I buy it like every, I don't know, I'd say 3 months. Because again, 250 drops last you a long time. That's the thing with these oils, guys. Think about it. Like when you divide the cost of this bottle by the number of drops, it's like cents per drop. What's that?
Like they're all multi-purpose. So it's
Voila.
like using it for multiple different reasons. So it's like 250 divided by, you know, as many different uses that you're using.
Voila. And so exactly. And so again, it's one of those things where, listen, I had a friend the other day who's she had like a chickpea or a corn kernel that got stuck up her little one's nose, and they posted this thing where he like got the tweezers out. She's like, ain't nobody going to the ER right now. Like anything to stop you from going to the doctor's office or hospital, like please do. And so what this is doing is like, it's helping us, like, listen, we have the power, guys, to protect ourselves. We have the power to understand how to work with our own body, because every single person's body is totally different. Everyone's body is affected differently by disease. Everyone's body is affected differently with essential oils. And so again, when you're talking to these doctors these days and they're doing telemedicine, guys, I respect wholeheartedly my doctors for myself and my son and my teeth doctors, my therapist, everyone. But here's what I do. I go in, I talk to them. I say to them, listen, I use these essential oils at home. I use them for all these different purposes. Would you be open to having a communication with me where I can bring you testimonials and studies that are on different scientific and medical websites where they have started to prove the efficacy of these oils? And can I bring them to you? And can I have an open communication with you about them? Because I'm just telling you honestly, I'm going to go home and use these in my practice. And they're like, and one of my doctors said to me, she goes, Jenny, listen, I don't doubt that this stuff works. The problem is none of us are trained in it. She goes, in 10 years of medical training, I had 1 hour-long class on plant nutrition. And that's what I know about it. And so she goes, you actually understand this better than me, but I'm happy to have that conversation with you. And I was thrilled, because now it just means that, listen, we're on the same level in terms of, treatment here. And so I go to them for their advice and their knowledge and their experience. But then I also am empowered to come home and use things that are at my fingertips that I know are not going to give me side effects. Okay. So that's my first one for mood. Like, just, you can diffuse it. You can put it on you. It already has coconut oil in here. It's one of the few that have coconut in there. Citrus Bliss, like Jaymely.
Hey, Jenny.
I said to her the other day, I go, couldn't your mom have made your name a little different so it doesn't confuse me so much?
Jenny.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Look at what Susan's showing us.
Hi. Did you get one of these gifts? It has the
No,
balance.
I got 3.
Oh, right. I got 2 immediately, but it has the balance in the roller ball if you don't want to have it on your hands. I have cats, so I don't want to have any oils on my hands.
Yeah.
So I sleep with this next to my bed.
Yeah.
And I try to remember. I've been sitting here this whole time listening to you. I finally got it out and rubbed it all over my neck.
Oh, good. Yeah, I do too. I have that on my bedside, and the only reason I didn't bring that up is because I don't know if it's available anymore because it was a holiday product.
Oh well. Yeah, I don't think it is. I
have
one,
but
it's to buy it.
Yeah, but it's easy. But if it's not available, it's easy to make, because as Jaymely was saying, I love how I can point to you like you're right there. Was saying that you can just buy the roller bottles from doTERRA or Amazon, but doTERRA has them. Yeah. And you can just fill it with fractionated coconut oil, but it already has coconut oil in it.
Right. I did that with my Aroma Touch.
Yes, right. And then just because that one is like a massage blend, so you can just rub it on you. Okay. Now, the Citrus Bliss is a very invigorating, uplifting oil. Okay, this has about 10 different citruses in it. So we have mandarin orange, wild orange, tangerine, then after bergamot, and then after all the citrus oils, they actually add vanilla. So if you guys like the smell of a creamsicle, you got to diffuse this. Like, it's incredible. Oh, this is brand new. Oh, heaven. Okay. And then the last thing, and so again, this is diffusing. Typically, I put it as a diffuser. As Jaymely mentioned before, you know how she said she takes Citrus Bliss and she puts it right on her skin, and then she just like wears it like perfume. I do the same thing. I used to have sensitive skin. I no longer do with many of the oils. The only one that affects me is oregano and cinnamon. They're both considered hot oils, and they affect most people. So this is something, again, you'll learn when you have us as mentors to learn every single specific oil, or the book here, okay? And again, if you go out in the sun after you use a citrus oil, you will have skin sensitivity because they're photosensitive, okay? So you have to just be careful of the citrus ones. So diffusing that is the best bet because it fills the entire house with like, summertime and the living is easy. All right. So last one I wanted to talk about is the adaptive. Now this one was made last fall for people who suffer with anxious feelings, which if I'm teaching a class and I'm taking a poll of why they're here, I have them write it down on little cards. 95% of people write stress and anxiety or some form of depression. And this is the calming blend. I'm going to read you what's in it. We have wild orange, lavender, copaiba, spearmint, magnolia, hugely effective for anxious feelings, rosemary, neroli, and sweet gum. This is an incredible blend. They have made, Jaymely, can you hold up the supplement bottle? They
Yeah.
made a sweet. Yeah, we call it the adaptive sweet. So it has these two oils. She's using the supplement, holding the supplement bottle. This one has botanicals in it. So they've discovered that when you mix essential oils with botanicals, like what is there in there? Ahi flower and selenium. So
Yep.
these are, did I say that right? I don't know if I said that right, but they're botanicals that are mixed with the essential oils that help to, yeah, there they are. So that help just to regulate the moods, guys. It's an incredible, incredible one. And so this is, again, I diffuse this almost every night since I got it. And there's also a roller ball that comes with it that you can use on the back of your neck. Okay. So I could, these are just three very simple topics that I could go on forever about. I wanted to open it up to questions, but before I do, for those of you who are not using essential oils right now, I just want to teach you how you go about getting these so that you understand all the ways that you can get them the cheapest as possible. I think a lot of people think that they have to spend an arm and a leg and, you know, get a ton of them at once. But I also wanted to make sure that you knew that, remember I said there's 250 drops in here, and you literally will use one by day, by day, by day, by day, by day. And so they'll last you several months, and you're just gonna be so grateful that you didn't have to go to the doctor where you could get exposed, where you have to get pharmacy supplements where you might have the you know, experience of having side effects, and then also the cost of many of the over-the-counter situations that we are urged to buy. Okay, so there's two ways that you can get these, either retail or wholesale. You can get them retail, but friends don't let friends buy retail. The two ways that you can get them wholesale is either, think about it like BJ's. You know how you go to BJ's and you have to buy a membership in order to get things wholesale? That's kind of how it works with doTERRA. And so you would get a $35 fee and then pick a la carte all the things that you want. But the second way and more effective way, if you don't want to pay that fee, is to actually get them at wholesale by buying a kit. Now the kit, remember, they might not have all the oils that we talked about today, but they're going to have some of them. And so like Jaymely was saying, lemon works for her, but many of the kits come with melaleuca or tea tree and lavender and frankincense, which also help for skin and acne. And so, you know, we didn't even get to kind of the washing your hands bit, but basically all the ones that she mentioned for skin can help with like eczema symptoms as well, right? So like getting diluted frankincense all over your hands or diluted lavender all over your hands. Lemon, you could try. I'd be skeptical a little bit just because of with open sores, lemon might be a little bit harsh, but I would definitely try the lavender and frankincense and melaleuca on that for sure without any fear of that stinging. Okay, melaleuca and frankincense I actually put on cuts all the time. So I wanted to share my screen again and just show you a couple of those kits. Okay, and these again, remember, are ones that you do not have to pay a fee for. Okay, so let me just move this out of the way. Now, those of you who have been using the wholesale accounts for a while, if you have friends that you're thinking about right now during this time who, listen, like they could use this so much, they need protection, they need immunity, these kits actually, Jerrelise and Jaymely, you might know this better than me because I can't remember if it was all the kits or just some of them, but I'm pretty sure every single one of the kits this week only, like until the end of the month, which is in 2 days, we're doing this on March 30th, 2020. All of them are like at least 10% off, maybe even 20% off. I'll try to find that out as I'm talking to you. I'll try to multitask here, but they're definitely discounted. Okay, so let me just make sure.
Yeah, 20% off.
You're seeing that there? Okay, cool. So go ahead and get that info for us while I'm talking about these. But check this out. So the Healthy Habits Kit has got a sampling of all the vitamins, right? So this is something that I take every single day. It has not only the botanicals I was talking about, but it also has the essential oils in this entire bottle. It's XE omega. That means essential oils. That's what it stands for. This one, VM, stands for vitamin. You read that, it says like broccoli, Brussels sprouts. You know, all your full whole foods are there. This one is CRS, alpha CRS. It's going to have your, you know, the different botanicals. Like you'll see ginkgo biloba in there. So this is really helping all the cellular function in this one. Okay, we also have some enzymes here and good bacteria, which we all know. We maybe we'll do a webinar just on this about gut health. We all know that gut health is brain health. And if you didn't know, now you know. Gut health is really where the entire, you know, it almost like it's feeding our brain, right? So it's the most important thing to have good nutrition. And so that's a great little sampling, healthy habits in general. This is one of our most popular. It's called Healthy Start. And it has like many of the oils we talked about: lavender, lemon, peppermint for seasonal afflictions, tea tree and frankincense for hands, oregano is going to be something that you really need for certain infections that come in. Essential oil blends. We have Deep Blue, which helps muscles, the Breathe, which helps breathe. On Guard, we didn't even talk about today because this was not an immunity class, but it's, let me just tell you this. When it was put out in the news about a danger, a threat that was out, you know, from person to person, this product went up 400% for people who were already using what we know about our On Guard essential oil and the effectiveness of it for protective reasons. This product sales went up 400%. All of us just stocked up completely. We did not want to be out of On Guard. I'll leave it at that. And then Digest Zen is for digestion issues. This one was the first one that I started with way back in the day. It's a natural solution. So it's changed a bit, but it's really got a sampling of all those oils and then a sampling of the shampoos and stuff. So you got to remember this, guys. Like if you want your immune system to be high functioning, you have to look at all the products that you're using in your home. So like what shampoos are you letting run over your face and on your pores and in your mouth? Because it gets it in your mouth, believe me, inevitably. You're washing it right over your eyeballs and your ears. And what toothpaste are you using that has different ingredients in it? People ask me all the time, Jenny, what do you use to whiten your teeth? I'm like, I straight up use On Guard toothpaste. Like it has the best stuff for dental health, like in my roots. I've never had a cavity in my life. I floss incessantly and I use On Guard. That's what I do. And then the On Guard products, right? We have the mouthwash and the soap. And the soap, guys, when I'm using the soap, it has been studied to be so effective at keeping pathogens away, but it's also very nourishing. Like I put lotion on in the morning for my showers or whatever, but that's it. Like I don't get that chappedness. And then the vitamins here. Now, this one is a Healthy Home. And again, it's a sampling. It's like a mini natural solutions kit, right? Just a small sampling of this, of the soaps and oils and the diffuser, but without the supplement. So that's really nice just for the home, okay? And then finally, we have Healthy Essentials. Now, this one was actually newly created. And the reason is because the copaiba oil and the balance oil that I talked about were so helpful for people with like, you know, resting and grounding and mood swings. And then of course they have the adaptive here that we had never had a kit that included the mood oils before. So in addition to the lemon, lavender, peppermint that'll help with seasonal afflictions, the copaiba balance and adaptive, which will help with mood, they also have the belly one, the breathe one, the On Guard, and then the muscle one. So this is an incredible new one that has really a good compilation of all of them. Finally, the simple solutions is just for those people who want to start real simple. You got your muscle help there. You have your lemon help, which is so versatile for cleaning. On Guard, like I said, are most popular, and then Serenity for sleep. Okay, so those essential oils, those kits are available all at 20% off, right, Jaymely?
Yeah.
This week. And so what I wanted to show you is to get with the person who invited you here. And what you'll do is you can just pick one of these, or you can do that a la carte thing, which is just going to be more expensive if you're going to, because you have to pay that $35 fee. With these, you do not have to pay any fee. Okay, so what you're going to do is once they give you their site, which looks something like this, instead of shop, that'll give you retail, you're going to become a member instead. And all that means is that you have for the entire year your own wholesale account. So let me just stop the share for a second. And so again, remember this, like you can share this with friends, you can send them to us. But I also wanted to open it up for questions right now, because maybe you're just not sure. Maybe you have something very specific. And what we're going to do is stop the recording so you guys can just chat with us for a little. And thank you guys so much for being here. And I will just stop this somehow.